All right, guys. Next one here, we have Redfin reports the typical home is taking nearly 2 months to sell, and that's the slowest pace in 5 years. Now, I already have a problem with this very short look backs in real estate.
Yeah.
We know we're in our 20th year now as a group, if you will. Looking back 5 years doesn't even cover, the majority of our time together, but it is interesting because it's statistically significant. The typical U.S. Home listing that went under contract sat on the market for 54 days before the seller accepted an offer, which is the longest span since March 2020. Ding, ding, ding. What happened in March of 2020?
That's when
that was a weird month.
COVID.
Oh,
I remember that. That was crazy.
Where I lost all my loans.
Everything's
Just sitting here like, where's everyone?
Where's my loans at?
And that was a thing where, what was the job? You had to have a job that you were required to get home, get to the house. Otherwise, you had to stay home.
Yeah, man.
You had to be essential.
Essential worker.
Essential worker.
Yeah,
that was
essential
great.
worker. Yeah.
I'm an essential worker all of a sudden.
I'd be like, hey, I'm essentially working.
yeah. Or trying to.
Hey, are you working? Essentially.
Yeah, it was crazy times. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah,
I essentially do.
Yeah. The comment's going to fire off right now.
Can you guys tell us what you guys were doing in 2020 when you guys got the news that you have to stay home?
I was at home.
I wasn't asking you. I was asking our
I know.
audience.
I'm commenting. I was at home. But
I was at home. What about you?
I feel like I saw you here a lot, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I lived here.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to put some timestamps in this. Okay. So this is the this is the longest time span since March 2020. Earmark March 2020.
Yeah.
Then at this time in 2022, so January is what this is coming from. So January 22, less than 2 years later, the typical home is selling in 35 days, which is like piranhas. That when I saw 54 compared to 35, I'm like, that's like when they put meat in the piranha aquarium and then there's just like this all go. That was what it was like.
But we had a shortage of homes at that time. That was the worst.
It was crazy.
Everything went.
We don't need to go too back in the way back machine, but we have to warn people that, listen, your house is going to sit on the market a little longer, and it's not necessarily because it's undesirable. It's just because there's not as many people that can afford it, and there, with increase of inventory, is more selection, which means your house is just going to have to be in better shape, or you're going to have a better deal and come with better terms on the sale side or something. Yeah. So, I don't know. So those are kind of like my main points.
So one of the things that I agreed with, and I actually, I find it that everybody kind of follows that fear of missing out. And when the market is hot and there's a lot of competition, everybody wants to transact. Yeah. But then as soon as, rates go up, the market slows down, it's like people are waiting for the competition to pick back up because they don't want to buy and get a bad deal. But they don't realize that it's inversely, it's the inverse way. Like, if there's less competition, the sellers are probably desperate, meaning that you can maybe get a better deal depending on your negotiations. But damn, I lost my train of thought. Yeah. Come back to me, Andy. Thank you.
You're talking about negotiations getting a better deal.
I completely lost my train of thought.
No problem. Okay, so it's okay. I have something else I want to talk about here. So the point at the bottom of the first page, it's okay. The point at the bottom of the first page here was that people who are starting to believe that if they want or need to move and they can afford to, they should do it, which we've been kind of telling people, like, if you can afford to get to a place, like, get it. If that means you have to move out of the main little area you want to live, but you can kind of be on the periphery of that, like, you maybe start considering that. And we've been saying that for over a year. We're tripling down on saying that, like, right now. You have more inventory to pick from, like we're talking about. And one of the things I wanted to mention on the stats side, because as Brian mentioned, I'm a stats nerd with you guys, is, we covered this in a previous episode where our average sale to list price ratio is 98.1%. And so that means that the crash didn't happen. A couple segments ago, we talked about Wall Street was thinking that, houses are overpriced by 20 or 30%. And the market's reaction is, no, we're only overpriced by 1.9% because our list price, our closing price is 98.1% of our list price. Yeah. So I think that this is going to hold into this year, even as months of supply raise. I don't think you're going to see a race to do a deal just because sellers have to wait a little longer.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not going to happen. Like the article states here, sales are slow because it's very expensive to buy a home with mortgage rates sitting at 7%. And that's a fact. Yep. I mean, we're at one of our worst affordability crises in over 30 years. Oh, yeah. It's what it is. And we haven't seen buyers this low in also like 20 plus years. So this is very difficult for people to just go in there and say, yeah, I'm going to buy we just qualified somebody at $1,025,000. We're going to go FHA, 3.5% down, and their payment was $8,300.
Whoa.
And it was a 1,500 and change square foot here. And yeah, it doesn't have Melrose, but still, that was a lot.
Jesus
Of
Christ.
$8,300?
$8,300.
That's $100,000 a year.
That's correct.
So what's their income like?
Yeah, good income. They qualify.
That's my point exactly.
I mean,
That's
they
insane.
qualify. It's like $234,000 is what they make.
And this wasn't like one of those triplexes like we talked about in the first
No.
article where there's offsetting
this is a
income
single
and all
family.
that.
No, this is a single family
yeah,
residence.
bro.
So when we're talking about this and why these things are sitting, it's because of that fact. Things are a lot more expensive for, people to afford right now.
Yeah.
But isn't that a case for so here the immediate thought then is, well, isn't that a case for sellers to drop their price so more people could afford or buy their place? And it's like,
But
no,
why?
maybe not, because they don't. Yeah, well, okay. But my other side's like, well, but why? Because if the market price is the market price, well, then the right person will show up.
And
Yeah.
they'll pay the price.
They can count in 54 days, they'll sell that house, right? So that's the one.
Hey, check you out.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Then it comes out that's stating that prospective buyers have been cautious because they've seen homes sitting on the market. So buyers are also, remember back in the day, you needed the MLS to search for homes and stuff like that. That's no longer needed.
Nope.
Yeah.
Now you got your Redfin, you have your Zillow, you have your Trulia, you have all these other sort of places where you can go in there and you can see this information. You can see this data and people see, well, I've seen that home. Oh, it came back again. And we're like 2 months in.
What's wrong with it?
Exactly.
Why?
And so, so people are sitting on that on the market because they're seeing that it's sitting longer and they have interest rates and prices. They're thinking that prices and interest rates may drop. Listen, the home of the price ain't going to drop. That's the thing. We haven't seen that for years, and it's just, I keep saying it's simple economics, supply and demand. For the amount of homes amount of people that we have in our country, over 330 million people, right? We're all going to need a home. Like, we have a shortage. And I go back again, people are saying that we're missing 5 to 6 million homes, right? That's what we have, that we need, that many homes. Grant Cardone, for many of you don't know, he's a big real estate mogul. He also mentioned something I never thought about this, but dilapidated homes. Mm-hmm. How many homes are out there that are habitable?
What was the number? Like 20 million or something like that?
25 million.
Oh, God. That's absurd. That's so many. That's a lot.
It's crazy.
So we have a 5 to 6 million home shortage.
crazy.
A
And about
dilapidated crisis.
25 million dilapidated. Well,
One of the questions that we've been getting asked a lot is, should I wait, right? And I'm telling you, people that qualify now, don't wait. Just purchase. It's a temporary Band-Aid for now, which is the payment's going to be temporary, right? That's what I mean, a temporary Band-Aid. The interest rate's going to go down. So therefore, that's going to save you money in the long run because you'll be able to put yourself in a position to refinance. Whereas the purchase of that home value, it should not be going down.
yeah. Okay.
And so for me, it's like, pat yourself on the back right now. Congratulations if you could afford it right now.
Yeah.
And just look for that right home and budget yourself. Everything comes with the sacrifice. I know when I bought my first home, Tanya and I and the kids, I'm telling you that the dollar menu did exist at that point in time. It really did.
I was calling. I knew he was
Top
gonna say it.
Ramen.
I knew it.
Top Ramen didn't have all
Hey,
those issues.
we got a new contender.
Ramen.
But we made the sacrifice. And I remember stressing. That was in 2000 when we bought our first home. Then we just started buying properties right after another. It was like almost like we were playing Monopoly. You remember that?
Oh,
Every
yeah.
year we're buying a property.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It was cool.
No,
And so I'm sorry.
No,
and so
go.
then, in 2008, I remember buying another property. People, oh my God, you're freaking crazy. You're buying top of the market. Well, look where we're at. We're in the office. Now I look like a hero. The property's an investment being rented.
Yep.
And it's got a ton of equity, right? Bought it for $555. It's now like 1.4.
Yeah.
How dumb do I look now?
Yeah, I know.
Right?
It's all a matter of time, right?
Godly, it's just time.
But and you had mentioned this a couple, 1 or 2 episodes ago. You had mentioning you had mentioned people in 2013 told me don't buy the house I have now.
Yeah.
And it's like it's increasing, it's double the price.
Yeah.
Or more even. So
And again, Andy, all I'm saying is if you could do it, right? But make sure
Thank
you're
you.
taking the extra measures of understanding your budget, what you're able and capable of doing. I know that even owning could be overrated. It can be. I know I have a lot of friends that rent, and they're super excited, and they invest in other investments that may give them a great rate of return on their investment.
Yeah, my takeaway, at least for me in this conversation right here, is just if you want to sell your house, put your house in the market. Don't leave it off the market and then sit around and wonder. And if you want to be a homeowner, do what you need to do to get into the process of starting to get qualified, so you can at least be in the game rather than just sitting around maybe still talking about it someday.
Yeah, because these are realities. 54 days is still not a bad thing.
Nope. And for those of you wondering, specifically in San Diego, the national stat here for pending sales are down 9.4%, but in San Diego, guys, 20.1%. So it's more than twice as much in San Diego as it is on the nationwide average.
That's crazy.
So
affordability crunch.
I was gonna say I was gonna try to maybe catch you guys off guard, like, hey, you guys, guess what? We made the list today. Last time we mentioned something like this, San Diego wasn't on the list. Now it is on the wrong side. We're on the wrong column. But I don't want to end this part on a negative. I want to end on a positive. So I'm going to mention new listings are up in a handful of cities, and in some of them by a lot. So here are the top 5 cities where new listings are flourishing. San Jose, 23.4%. Phoenix, 19.5%. Seattle, 15.2%. Oakland, 14.5%. And Sacramento, 14.2%. Those are just the top 5, and they're all in the double digits by a lot.
Oakland?
Which means there's someone at 10, 12, 10, 9, 8, 3, whatever. There's a lot of other places that are meeting that new listing demand. So if you're looking to get into one of those places, let us know so we can help you get qualified.
Yeah, good time to negotiate right now.